It sounds so logical, doesn't it? Find the perfect next home, secure it, then sell your current place. Simple. Except sometimes it's not. I'm Hannah McQueen.
And I'm Mark Leishman, and this is The Next Bit Bite-Sized. Today I'll ask Hannah about buying before selling when it comes to downsizing. Is it a smart move or a financial trap waiting to happen? So Hannah, with all your financial experience over the years, is there an answer to the big question, buying before selling or selling before buying?
I think as you're younger, it makes more sense to sell before you buy, and that traditionally is the right advice. As you get older though, it creates a lot of anxiety if you don't know what you're moving to next. And sometimes that necessitates you selling after you have bought because you want to know I've got the next place to go to. The challenge with that is you need to be able to afford to buy that house without selling yours, and that is a financing question of how we do that. And there is cost and stress attached to that as well. So we've got to navigate that very elegantly.
How bad can it actually get if you don't sell your house in time?
It can get bad, but by bad, that's a financial impact rather than catastrophic, which is someone dying as a result of it, right? So let's just keep it in context. If you have bought the next property and you don't have cash to buy it, if you've got cash, fill your boots, do whatever you want. But if you don't have that cash sitting there, you are going to be taking on a loan to bridge before you sell your own home, current home. That's neither good nor bad. That just has a cost. And if it's for a couple of months, I'm pretty sure who cares? When it gets longer, it becomes more costly and there is more of a need for you to drop your pants on what you need to sell your home for. And that's where it can take hundreds of thousands of dollars of what was a nest egg. And some people would say, well, you kind of backed yourself into the corner with that. You know, you shouldn't have done it that way. And maybe there's some degree of truth with that. But everything, I guess, has a perspective. And if it meant that you have the certainty of going to where you need to be next, that can serve you as well. I know that if you're going into a retirement village, there might be ways that you could defer your first payment for that. And that might be a really nice way to buy you a little space. I know that you can also delay the settlement on a property that you're buying, which could also give you enough space. So those things might be enough for the whole thing to work. If you do it the other way, where you sell first and you become cashed up to buy the property you're downsizing to, the challenge with that is you're looking at what properties are available right at that point. And that might not be a big enough pool for you to kind of work within. And so then the impact of doing it the right way is you sell your home, but then you need to rent somewhere while you wait for a property that you don't know exists yet to become available. That has other costs and other kind of emotional toll attached to it. So I don't think that there is a right answer. There's just an impact that you can try and minimise through longer settlement times, that you can facilitate through more favourable financing options, but there's no free lunch in this process.
And what sort of buffer do you need for that sort of scenario?
So if you're thinking of downsizing, when should you start the process? I tend to encourage, or I used to encourage, 2 years before you need to downsize, you should be starting that process of kind of cleaning the house up, getting rid of things in the house, maintaining, repairing, renovating, because you just want to have a runway that you can work with. Because if at the point that you go on the market, let's say the market's really depressed, well, on one hand, you could say, well, as long as you buy the next property in the same market, you'll be okay. But it's not quite that straightforward because although the timing might be the same market, it's different market levels, so there could be different impact with that. So it's sort of one of those sort of helpful comments, but not really contextualised for the reality.
But it's also, other factor, of course, is you might have a big house on the hill with the view and all that, but there's a limited pool of buyers for that sort of house, as opposed to if you're downsizing, you're going to a smaller house where there'll be a lot more buyers. So that can also factor into all this.
Well, it can erode the gesture of the downsize.
Because you've got to make it worthwhile. It's got to be worthwhile for you to...
Yes. And I have seen some people who have downsized and they just eroded the gain, or they've bought a property that's cheaper and then they've renovated it using up the money they downsized. And I'm like, internally, what was the point of that? Like, there's a bit of weird logic. I think the most important thing is that if you're just going to kind of let this play out the way that it plays out and not take more of control of the situation, you're probably only going to get 3 to 3.5 years worth of extra retirement, which I don't even know if that feels worth it. So I think we go back to, well, what did we need that downsizing transaction to do for for your retirement? Did you need $100,000 to make your retirement work? Did you need 400, or was it 500,000? Let's understand the number. Let's understand what is the latest point you need that amount by. Like, when are you going to have used up all your KiwiSaver and there is no money, so you're going to have to do something? What is that point? And then let's kind of rewind 2 years and let's just take control of the process. It doesn't need to be stressful if we've got enough time.
Can you explain bridging finance? And that, again, seems to loom large as a sort of a bit of a scary option. But
yeah, well, bridging finance, I think bridging finance, reverse mortgages, anything that's slightly outside of the box comes at a higher interest rate.
Yes.
And that higher interest rate is probably what makes a lot of people nervous and gives it probably a bad rap. But if you get rid of the emotion, the bridging finance is facilitating you completing a transaction. Does it come at a cost? Yes. But sometimes that cost is lower than you selling your property, moving into rental accommodation while you wait for the property that you were looking for to become available. Like, that comes at a cost as well. So there's cost everywhere. Let's just contextualise the cost and work out, well, what are the guardrails we're going to put in place so that it doesn't balloon bigger than what it needs to be.
And where should you seek advice? Do you go to a lawyer, or do you go to a financial advisor?
Well, ideally you want to be working with a financial planner or someone who understands what retirement looks like. I know that when we're working with our members at Brightly, we're trying to identify, well, what is the problem we're actually trying to solve here for the member, and then we're connecting them with the right specialist for that. For some people, it might be that they do need a reverse mortgage for a short period of time. Maybe they need to pay for the renovation before they sell the house and they don't have the cash for that. That might be a good reason for a reverse mortgage. But there are things to look out for with that reverse mortgage. Like, don't just sleepwalk into some of these things. They can serve you, provided it's part of a connected and coordinated plan. So that might be cash before you sell might be the problem we're trying to solve for you. Or it might be that cash in between you selling and buying is the problem. Or it might be that you've downsized and we now need to invest that money, because at the rate that you're spending it and how you're investing it, you're going to run out 5 years before you needed to or should have. That's a different problem to solve. So we're trying to work out, well, what is the problem we're trying to solve for you? And then we'll connect you with the right people and then work out, well, what are the risks with that, and make sure that you are supported through that process.
And then, of course, age. Once you get into your 70s, mid-70s to late 70s, you know, you can't work anymore, effectively, probably.
No, I don't think that's true.
Yeah?
That's a dangerous state of mind. It's not.
Well, I'm just saying, you get older and, well, the options are fewer.
Yes.
To be downsizing and then bridging finance and all this other stuff, you know, buying a new house or whatever. You know, as you get older, the options...
Well, as you get older, your income will start to drop. And
that's what I was meaning.
Yeah.
I wasn't completely stupid.
What we know is that when your income starts to drop, or if the bank think that the income isn't going to continue for so long because they've done some aging profiling on you, well, then you're kind of dead to them.
Yeah.
They don't stump up to help you like they did when you were earning really good money, even though you might have a mortgage-free home. So that's why you've got to understand, well, what are the box of tricks that you can access? They're going to come at a higher cost because they see you as a higher risk because you don't have that income coming in. But that's okay. It can still serve your purpose. Let's just work out how we navigate that well.
So what would be the one piece of advice you'd offer people before they sign up for anything, really?
You've got to know what the objective is. If you're selling your house, what do you need to sell it for? If you're buying the next one, what did you need to buy it for? To know that number, we needed to have taken a minute to plan out what the next 20, 30 years looks like. And most people don't have a clue. Most people will ask me, should I downsize? The answer is yes. They don't tend to say when. And the answer to that is probably earlier than what you want. Be cashed up, manage your money well, have it invested well. And that is one of the best things you can do for your overall health, certainly for your bank balance health.
Hannah, thank you.
Thank you.
Buying before selling isn't automatically reckless, but it's really neutral. There's usually more at stake than people realise.
And when you're later in life, preserving flexibility matters more than chasing perfect timing.
Thanks for joining us on The Next Bit, Bite-Sized.
Please click the subscribe button on this podcast for more practical conversations like this. We'll see you next time.